A type of questions.
जी सर, मंडे से शुरू करूंगा सर। सेक्शन ए क्वेश्चन।
All right.
सर लेकिन
Okay.
एपीआर और बीपीआर आप एक दफा वापस एक्सप्लेन कर देंगे तो सही रहेगा, क्योंकि उसमें मसला आ रहा है क्वेश्चंस करना में। और वो आईएफए के अंदर भी, इंटेंजिबल फिक्स एसेट में।
What's the confusion?
सर कुछ क्वेश्चंस में कंफ्यूजन आई थी। क्वेश्चन तो फुल याद नहीं है मुझे, कि अगर हमने गुडविल खरीदी है तो उसको किस तरह ट्रीट करेंगे ये सब।
So, for intangible fixed assets, if it does not have defined life, for example, goodwill, then goodwill, brand name type of stuff. So, for such situations, there is no amortization type of stuff is allowed expense. Okay. Uh, Whereas whenever you dispose it off, if gain would be recorded in trading income, if loss, that would be deducted from interest deficit. Sorry, total income, not interest deficit, then that will be deducted from total income along with QCD. So that was about IFA.
और सर पेटेंट बॉक्स अगर आएगा तो वो लिखा हुआ होगा क्वेश्चन के
Oh,
अंदर।
yes, yes, yes. So if you notice, there is no such exam kit question in the exam kit where you need to learn whether the patent box, the details rules of patent box.
जी सर, पेटेंट बॉक्स का क्वेश्चन नहीं है, लेकिन जैसे पेरेंट ने अगर सब्सिडरी को भेजा है, बेचा है अपना पेटेंट, तो वो क्या होगा? वो पेटेंट बॉक्स तो नहीं होगा ना?
No, hell no. That's simple IFA. So the patent box, if you look, this concept applies if company internally by themselves develop the patent and use it for their own purposes, like in their own trading activities type of stuff.
सर प्लीज़ 1 मिनट दें, मैं आपको क्वेश्चन देख के बताता हूँ एग्जाम किट का जिसमें मसला है। और सर ये पूछना था कि अगर हमने पेटेंट सेल किया है तो हम उसके अंदर से जो हमने अमोर्टाइजेशन करी है उस पे उसको माइनस करके और फिर वो कॉस्ट
Yes,
कंसीडर करेंगे ना?
yes. So Effectively,
return now.
if you look, and as mentioned in the lecture as well, if you follow accounting, and that's why I said if you follow accounting methodology, then there will be no change or no difference in the gain or loss amount as well. But if you followed 4% straight line amortization method, then yes, there will be change in accounting gain loss versus the gain loss computed via tax rules. So in short, here the gain loss is not over cost, it's over net book value to be precise.
और सर ये जो आपने ऑल्टरनेटिव ट्रीटमेंट बताया 4% SLA अमोर्टाइजेशन मेथोडोलॉजी, तो ये
एस
इसके अलावा
SLM.
अगर क्वेश्चन क्वेश्चन में कुछ मेंशन होगा तो हम वो इस्तेमाल करेंगे ना?
Repeat your last line.
सर मैं ये कह रहा हूँ कि 4% आपने बताया, लेकिन अगर क्वेश्चन में जैसे 10 ईयर लाइफ दी हुई है या 25 ईयर लाइफ दी है तो हम वो इस्तेमाल करें।
So if you again look over here, so straight line is 4% and 4% translates into 25 years, right? It means if asset has a useful life of more than 25 years, then claiming amortization at 4% on a straight line is beneficial. But imagine if the useful life is, let's say, 10 years or 15 years, then what will be the amortization percentage? So in our earlier studies, let's say in FA1, FA2, or F3 paper, we learned one formula which was 1 divided by useful life is depreciation or amortization percentage, right? So just imagine if asset has useful life of 10 years, means the depreciation or amortization percentage would be 10% then on a straight line basis. And if 10% versus 4% the alternate treatment, which one is beneficial for you to claim 4% or to claim 10%? So if nothing mentioned, then I will follow the treatment which is beneficial for me, which is, let's say, uh, accounting methodology, I would say.
सर जैसे किट में एक क्वेश्चन है, क्वेश्चन नंबर 62, उसके अंदर लिखा हुआ है कि द पेटेंट वॉज बीन अमोटाइज ऑन स्ट्रेट लाइन बेसिस ओवर अ 10 ईयर पीरियड।
Yeah, correct. So what's the confusion over here?
और सर एक और बात पूछनी थी कि अगर पेटेंट ग्रुप में ट्रांसफर हुआ है तो वो फिर नो गेन और नो लॉस में ट्रांसफर होगा ना?
Correct,
और
because
वो जो रिटर्न
under
डाउन वैल्यू
capital
है,
loss.
उस पर ट्रांसफर होगा, और वो जो अगला जो ग्रुप है वो भी क्या बोलते हैं उसी लाइफ पे करेगा उसको अमोर्टाइज।
Correct.
ओके
Because
सर।
within the group, it's always at no gain, no loss. Assets transferred at original cost. So that's why.
ओके सर।
Hmm. Hello, Inshra. Anything from your side? Mustaq, sorry. Any question further before I start the main agenda for today? So, Walaikum Salam, Inshra. I hope all would be well. So before I start the today's agenda, like I have in my mind to attempt at least two complete papers with you guys. Let's say one paper today, tomorrow, one paper, complete paper, section A, section B, both next week with you guys. So this is my agenda for 4 days to spend with you. But before we start, as always, if you guys have any question, that's always welcome. So I was discussing, or I would rephrase, Mushtaq was discussing some of his queries. Uh, do you have any query to discuss? Do let me know. Otherwise, we can move to execute my plan.
सर वन मोर क्वेश्चन सर, अगर लॉन्ग अकाउंटिंग पीरियड होगा तो वो टू में डिवाइड होगा, मतलब फर्स्ट 12
Correct,
मंथ होंगे और फिर जो रिमेनिंग मंथ होंगे।
correct.
लेकिन सर उनका जो टैक्स रिटर्न फाइलिंग डेट क्या होगी, दोनों की अलग अलग होगी या दोनों के जो पीरियड एंड हुआ होगा वहाँ से ही 12 मंथ लेंगे हम?
So return filing is on the basis of chargeable accounting period, not on accounting period. Tax return, tax payments and return filing is on the basis of chargeable accounting period. Since chargeable accounting period has already been divided into 12 months and the remaining months as per the long period of account concept, hence two separate returns would be filed. Hence, two separate payments should be made.
सर लेकिन किट में मैंने देखा है, दो तीन क्वेश्चंस देखे हैं इसे, उसके अंदर ये लिखा हुआ है कि दो चार्जेबल पीरियड डिवाइड तो होंगे, लेकिन जो जैसे अभी लॉन्ग पीरियड ऑफ अकाउंट 31 मार्च पे ख़त्म हो रहा है ना, तो उनका एक ही रिटर्न जाएगा और वो 31 अगले साल के 31 मार्च पे जाएगा। दो सेपरेट रिटर्न
Mm.
नहीं बनेंगे, ये नहीं लिखा हुआ।
So maybe need to recheck this thing that return filing is on the basis of accounting period or chargeable accounting period. Just a sec, let me check along with this. So
सर
if
मैंने
it is,
मैंने चेक किया था, वो चार्जेबल अकाउंटिंग पीरियड पे लिखा हुआ है नोट्स में, तो मैंने उस हिसाब से आंसर किया था, लेकिन किट के पीछे देखा तो कुछ और लिखा हुआ है।
I was just looking for the time limits and election dates thing.
सर पेज नंबर 33, कॉर्पोरेशन टैक्स।
So let's see. Pay days, filing day. Sorry. So the page you're referring is with respect to the summarized notes?
नो सर, कॉर्पोरेशन टैक्स नोट्स।
Okay. Corporation tax notes. Opening unannotated ones. Hmm. Hmm. Chargeable accounting period, long period of account, 12 months, remaining months. Page number, please again.
33 सर,
43,
33।
33, okay. 33, I'm here, 33. 12 months after the end of chargeable accounting period. So ideally it should not be, but if you have any particular example, I can check on that question. What's the reason? What's the rationale?
जी सर, मैं आपको देख के बता दूंगा, क्योंकि दो तीन क्वेश्चन है उसमें सेम ही चीज़ लिखी हुई।
Do share with me.
और सर वन मोर थिंग,
Hmm.
पेज नंबर 58 इन कॉर्पोरेशन टैक्स।
Incorporation tax,
जी पेज नंबर 58, सॉरी 58, CFC.
page 58, CFC. Yes, I'm at page 58, CFC exemptions.
सर रिक्वायरमेंट 3 उसमें लिखा हुआ है कि 14.25%, 16% मोर देन यूके टैक्स। सर ये लेस देन यूके टैक्स नहीं हो?
Yes, probably. I do recall there was a typo over here. Just I'm opening up the annotated ones. Page 60. Page 16% is more than. So it's like if Alpha Limited pays tax at a small profit rate, then Farland rate of tax is more than UK tax rate. Oh, so it's not so the green explanation or the conclusion is other way around. So if just a sec. So there is no issue in the green color writing. So sorry, blue writing. So the issue is here. If you can see on the screen, the issue is towards the conclusion. So it should be upside down or downside up. So if the main profit, if Delta Limited, if the parent is main rate taxpayer, then the rate of UK tax would be 25. 75% of 25 is 18.75, right? In this situation, the Farland rate of tax is less than 75% of UK tax. Okay. Then
Yes.
CFC charge to apply. So it should be here then. And if this company, Alpha Limited, is a small profit rate payer company, a small profit means 19%. So 19% into 75, it's like 14.25. Then the Farland rate of tax is more than UK tax, more than as in it's not more than 75% of UK tax. So it's more than or less than is in with context to 75% of UK tax. Then here in that situation, CFC charge would not apply. Um, is it clear? No.
सर के लिए
Perfect. So thank you. So that's basically here the conclusion is upside down, downside up. Mm. Is there anything from you before I start? Great.
सर
So,
रिसर्च एंड
mm, mm,
रिसर्च एंड
mm.
डेवलपमेंट के अंदर पेज नंबर 24 पे ये सर आप एक्सप्लेन कर देंगे एक दफ़ा? हम अगर एग्जाम के अंदर लिखेंगे तो किस तरह लिखेंगे? कैलकुलेशन तो समझ में आ गई है, लेकिन लिखें किस तरह? 24 सर, लास्ट पार्ट, रिसर्च एंड डेवलपमेंट लास्ट पार्ट।
Connected, unconnected research.
स्कीम वाला। यस सर ये।
So, in generally, if you ask me from the examination perspective, this is part of the calculation. Normally, uh, I wonder that this part would be somewhere in theory, but if it is covered in theory, then these pointers are basically directional approach uh, how to solve it, make it, let's say, the explanation of the calculation. And this is a situation specific thing, which is if tax credit exceeds the corporation tax liability, then what are the options available to you?
ओके सर।
Okay, great. So, Insra Mushtaq just shared few minutes ago that he is about to done with the section B questions, then he will start with the section A questions. So can I have your feedback somewhat on the similar lines?
सर एक एडवाइस चाहिए थी आपसे सर। क्वेश्चन बी के मैं आंसर लिख रहा हूँ ना, तो पॉइंट में लिखूँ या पैराग्राफ में लिखूँ? वैसे तो मैं पैराग्राफ में लिख रहा हूँ, लेकिन पॉइंट में लिखूँ या पैराग्राफ पे ही सही?
So, throughout ACCA, what you are writing is more important than whether it should be in paragraph or it should be in bullet forms. So that's my initial feedback. Um, I would suggest follow the approach which is always suitable and comfortable to you rather than uh, that particular approach makes you your life difficult or maybe let's say the word miserable. So whatever you are comfortable, convenient, do follow that approach.
सर वैसे पैराग्राफ में लिखना शुरू कर दिया था, अब उसमें ही करते हैं।
So what is like more easier, convenient approach for you?
सर फर्स्ट प्रोफेशनल का एग्जाम है तो आइडिया नहीं।
Hmm. So again, like I said, as compared to uh, bullets or paragraph, the more important thing is what are you writing? The content of the answer. That's more important. So if let's say you are writing correctly, then that's fine, whether you write it in bullets or whether you write it in paragraph. But generally speaking, for memorandums, these are the paragraphs. If it's a letter type thing, meeting notes are generally in the bullets form. So, but these are in general terms, so not something which should have to be, I would say, religiously followed. So instead, provided you are progressing, it's good. Uh, I understand that everyone has his or her own dynamics with respect to scheduling. So that is like fine. But again, like I said, if you are progressing, that's important and that is the best thing I would say.
सर एक और चीज़ पूछनी थी कि सर जब ये शेयर ऑप्शन स्कीम वाला क्वेश्चन करते हैं, तो उसके अंदर अगर इनकम टैक्स निकाल रहे हो तो उसके साथ
Mm-hmm.
क्लास 4 एनआईसी भी निकालना होता
Class 4 share options. Why?
है? सर इनकम टैक्स कैलकुलेट करते हैं ना, तो उस पर क्लास 4 एनआईसी।
So maybe if let's say
आई थिंक
it's a start of the session, it's fine. But since it's like just 2 weeks to the exams, then I really expect the lesser
सर
these type of mistakes. So class for
नहीं सॉरी
NIC
सर।
and share options can never ever be together because share options on one side it would be individual who would be an employee, on the other side your employer would be a company, right? And employer is a company. That's why we are talking or discussing even about share options. Otherwise, we would not have even discussed about share options. Agreed. Um, Now, in
सर
continuation to
शायद वो
this,
क्लास 2 था, मैं आपको देख के बता देता हूँ।
even class 2. Class 2, class 4 NIC is only applicable on self-employed persons, not on companies. So companies only pay class 1 and 1A NIC being an employer. They do not pay any other NIC. So maybe if you're trying to ask, let's say whether class 1A NIC, then your question is valid. Otherwise, if still you really mean about class 2, class 4 NIC, then your question, with all due respect, is completely invalid.
सॉरी सर, इट्स वन क्लास 1 एंड नोशनल एनालिसिस।
Class 1 NIC?
क्लास 1 नेशनल एनालिसिस, नेशनल इंश्योरेंस कंट्रीब्यूशन।
Yeah, so you are asking about class 1 NIC, right?
यस सर, अभी मैंने चेक किया, वो क्लास 4 और 2 नहीं था, क्लास 1 था।
No worries. So, so that the reason being I was giving the statement, like if it's a start, it's fine. Considering 2 months near to the exam, these type of even statement-wise error is not acceptable. Reason being, you should be clear with this thing. Class 2, 4 is for employers, for self-employed persons, not for companies. So since you are talking about share options, which is only with the company, can never ever be, uh, can never ever be, sorry, class 2, class 4 can never ever be point of even discussion over here. Now, coming back to your point, to your question, to be precise, um, class 1 and IC applicable on share options? Yes, no. So if exercise of share option is a taxable benefit, be it approved share option, be it unapproved share option, then class 1 or 1A NIC would be applicable. That's the first comment to your point. Second, sir, to be precise, which NIC would be applicable, class 1 or 1A? So that depends whether the shares are of quoted company or are of unquoted company. So if shares are of quoted company shares are like considered as cash equivalent. Class 1 NIC would be applicable. But if the shares are of unquoted companies are like uh, unquoted companies are like non-liquid asset. Hence, it is considered as benefit, and hence class 1A NIC is applicable.
ओके सर, अंडरस्टूड।
Perfect. So, considering no more questions, I am heading towards my ACCA platform. So once you guys logged into your platform, please do let me know so that I can continue my discussion further. Done. Insra, what about you? Are you on this screen? Okay. So once done, do let me know. Perfect. So session, first of all, would remain all. Go to the browse available exams from the drop down, pick up ATX, drop down, pick up ATX, pick up variant UK, and then exam type. So I'm waiting for you guys to be here at exam type. Then we'll continue my pointers around this. I hope you guys are here. Perfect. Now, first category, I'm selecting past exam. Okay. So for past exam, uh, I have already pre-assigned to myself. I'll guide you which papers to assign. So if you look for past exam, there are September 24, June 24, June 23, September 23. So there are total of 7 exams. I hope this is similar to your screen, right? From these 7 exams, from these 7 exams, except of these two, except of these two, assign and three, not two, three. One, two, three. I assign 4 papers to yourself. September, December 24, June 24, June 25, September, December 25. Like assign them to yourself. I have already assigned, so that's why it's not saying me assigned. Otherwise, it would have said assigned to you. Assignment done.
Sir, please repeat which four?
September, December 24, June 24, June 25, and September, December 25. These 4.
Okay, sir, done.
The reason being, I'm not advising to assign these 3 papers like June 23, September 23, December 23 is they are based on the previous finance acts. Okay. And if you attempt previous finance act papers from here, the tax rates, allowances, rules, regulations would also be according to the previous finance act, not as such benefit. So, and by the way, these 3 papers are also available in the exam kit as well. So that's why I really do not advise. And in the exam kit, it's on the basis of updated tax rates and allowances. So that's why I really do not advise you guys to assign these 3 papers from here. Done. Now then I move to the specimen. Specimen, do assign it to yourself. I hope specimen done. Now I am heading to the third category, which is practice exam. Two practice exams, do assign both to yourself. Since I have already assigned them, so that's why it says exam is already assigned. Blank workspace, if you want to practice, assign it. I have already assigned it in the somewhat previous to previous sessions. Then after blank workspace, mock paper. Again, assign it to yourself, mock paper. So short mock is for the fundamentals, not for the professionals. And generally it covers section A and section B type questions for fundamentals. So I hope assignments done. Now I'm clicking on view assignments. So if you look, I am picking up all for me. In advanced taxation, there are 9 assignments, I guess, 9 to 10. How many assignments you have? It shows 12 to me,
10 including blank workspace.
10 including blank workspace. So why I have 2 extra? Because if you look, I have September, December pre-mock, September pre-mock and December pre-mock. There was no pre-mock in June, so that's why, uh, sorry, there was pre-mock in June. There would be one March pre-mock here. September 24, June 24, specimen, practice exam 1, blank space, pre-mock, pre-mock. Oh, so 2 pre-mocks, so I was right. June 25, September, December 25. It is doubling. So let me remove this. I also have the blank workspace. Yeah. So um, my own idea is we should attempt June 24 and September, December 24 because this is not available in the exam kit for you guys, for me as well. And you guys can practice rest of the papers at your own. Okay. So June 25, September, December 25, uh, pre-mock, practice exam, specimen, because your own practice is also important. So that's why this is my suggestion. If you have any feedback, do let me know. You guys done? Uh, June 24, September, December 24. Um, so instead, I'm proposing to start June 24 or September. So one paper, section A, let's suppose we will be doing today. And for other paper, for the similar paper, section B, we will be doing tomorrow. And one paper, we'll keep it for next week. So we can either start September, December 24 today or June 24. I'm fine with both. So let's start, let's say again, indifferent what we do today, what we do uh, tomorrow, sorry, what we do in this week or what we do in next week, that doesn't make much difference for me. But so I'm fine. So I don't have the coin at the moment. Otherwise, I would have tossed which one to start today. So let's start June 24. So I'm going to
सर जो
start June
टफ वाला है
24.
वो करा दें,
You
ज़्यादा
don't
मुश्किल
want
है वो
to?
करा।
Yeah, to be honest, I really don't remember. So I did this, in fact, one paper June 24 in last session. I don't recall what were the questions even.
ओके सर।
So let's start June 24, starting the exam. Got it for you guys? So you guys are on this screen? As always, we are all ignoring the instructions. So we are now on this page. Okay, so I'm starting the paper. This is important line to highlight. So as per the heading, it's 24-25 syllabus, but it's still based on the 23-24. So nothing to worry. Like for me, nothing as such change. We are all fine with this. Okay. So let's start. This is the real exam, right? Uh, how it looks like in the exam, you guys will get a very great idea. Let me start the question. You should assume that today's date is 1st Feb 24. You are an ACCA student working for a firm of accountants. Your manager has asked you to carry out some work in relation to both Lark Limited and Lark Limited Managing Director Rosati. Lark Limited Managing Director Rosati. In addition to some ethical considerations which have been raised by your manager, advice is required in respect of. In addition to some ethical considerations, it means there are already some of the ethical considerations which you should consider, but in addition to those ethical considerations, there are some other points as well which we need to consider. The sale of wholly owned subsidiary company, the sale by a company of a building and an intangible asset, group registration for the purpose of VAT, the VAT implications of the sale of building, the pricing strategy between the group companies, gift of shares to a trust and to an individual. The following exhibits available on the left-hand side of the screen provide relevant information relevant to the question. Lark Limited Group, memorandum from manager, tax reduction strategies, email from Rosati, uh, gift of shares in Lark Limited, email from Rosati, work to be carried out, email from manager. So this work to be carried out, this is basically the details of the question which you are supposed to do. Okay. Like, in exam, what you are to be precise supposed to do, that is covered in this area, work to be carried out. If I start reading, by the way, requirements, a sweet and simple screen, nothing much. You should assume that today's date is 1st Feb 24. Respond to the instructions in the email from your manager. The split is shown in Exhibit 4. This is Exhibit 4. Work to be carried out. Professional marks will be awarded for the demonstration of skills in communication, analysis and evaluation, skepticism, and commercial acumen in your answer. Like we discussed 2 weeks or 3 weeks back, for section A type questions, all four uh, skills will be tested. Let me start with the scenario now. So maybe this is the only screen which is good to open once, but no need to continuously keep opening this. Okay. Extract from a memorandum from your manager dated 1st Feb 24. This memorandum records discussion with Rosati, the managing director of Lark Limited. The Lark Limited Group, Lark Limited, owns 100% of STV Limited, who is tax resident in UK, acquired in 1st May 2018. 10 Limited, 10 tax resident in UK acquired 1st July 15. URB company tax resident in Limero acquired on 1st July 2015. VAR Limited tax resident in UK acquired on 1st July 2015. All five companies are trading companies which prepare accounts to 31st March each year. From this thing, while reading the question, keep couple of points in your mind for the effective execution throughout the paper. So one important message which I'm getting from this line is there will be no straddling type of concept over here because all companies prepare accounts to 31st March. URP company trades in the country of Limero and is resident there for tax purpose. There is no double tax treaty between UK and Limero. Uh, if needed, then there will be double tax treaty. Okay. All of the four companies are tax resident in UK and pay corporation tax at the main rate. So again, highlighting this because this gives me a silent message. What's the silent message? What's the silent message?
Corporation tax is at the 25%.
Great. So there is no need of taper relief. There is no need to think about, marginal relief, or there is no need to consider a small profits rate, etc., as all companies pay tax at main rate. Okay. STV Limited background information. Lark Limited acquired the whole of the ordinary share capital of STV Limited on 1st May 2018 for 550,000. STV Limited trades from Strict Building, which it purchased from an unconnected person, on 1st October 19 for 430,000. The Strict Building is not eligible for structure and building allowances. Okay, so there will be no consideration of uh, SBA type of stuff. On 1st April 22, STV purchased a registered trademark, the S trademark, for 300,000. You should be aware that on 1st May 2023, VAR Limited purchased a registered trademark, the V trademark, for 40,000. Both trademarks were acquired from unconnected persons for the use within the respective company's trades. Both trademarks were acquired from unconnected persons within the respective company's trade. So one was purchased by STV and one was purchased by VAR Limited. They are being written off over a 20-year period in the company's financial statements. Total amortization in respect of S trademark for the 2-year ending on 31st March 24 will be 3,000. So 2 years ending will be 3,000. So if I just imagine about simple straight line basis, for 2 years if it is 3,000, uh,
1500 per year.
It would be 1500 per year, right? Second, they are being written off over a 20-year period. 20-year period. So 20-year period means both of you. With respect to the concept of IFA, intangible fixed assets, which option would be better, to follow accounting methodology or to follow 4%?
Counting.
Uh, Accounting. Reason being, uh, that would result in more amount of amortization, right? That's correct. STV Limited is profitable company and it has no trading losses or capital losses brought forward as at 1st April 23. So it does not have any brought forward losses, either capital loss or trading loss. Sale of STV Limited. A sale of either STV Limited share capital option 1 or the company assets option 2 will take place on 31st March 24. So I don't know why. While from the previous paragraph, I was thinking about the concept of intangible fixed asset related discussion. But when I read this heading, sale of STV Limited, two options, either we can sell out the share capital or we can sell out the company asset. So if you recall, we discussed this at time of our discussion on the tax planning, sale of share capital versus sale of trade and assets. So this is exactly that discussion. Option 1. Under this option, Lark Limited would sell whole of the ordinary share capital of STV Limited to an unconnected company for 920,000. Option 1 is the disposal of share capital, and option 2 is the disposal of company assets. Option 2. Under this option, STV Limited would sell its assets and would cease trading. If you recall, we had couple of discussions in our that time as well. Like if you sell out your complete trade and assets, you would become dormant. Uh, and since the company is ceasing its trading, then this company, needless to say, would become dormant, right? I would then pay a dividend to Lark Limited equal to the post-tax proceeds realized. Okay, so whatever will be the post-tax that will be paid to the Lark Limited, i.e. parent entity, as a dividend. The following transactions would occur. The strict building would be sold to VAR Limited for its market value of 700. VAR Limited would use the building for its trading purpose. The S trademark would be sold to an unconnected company for 50,000. Other assets, equipment and inventory would be sold to various unconnected companies for market value. This would result in additional taxable profits of 20,000. Because if you sell out inventory, that will be your trading income. If you sell out equipment on which capital allowance is claimed, again, part of capital allowance is indirectly part of the trading income. Receivables will be collected and trade and other payables would be paid. In total, the sale realization of other assets would result in a net cash surplus of 130,000. Net cash surplus of 130,000. Net cash surplus of 130,000 means this will be the further cash that will come to your pocket. VAT, I agreed to provide advice to Recite on applying for a group VAT registration and on the VAT implications of the sale of a strict building if option 2 is chosen. Okay. Reducing the corporation tax payable by the group companies. Rosati asked for my advice on two possible strategies to reduce the corporation tax payable by the Lark Limited group companies. These strategies are summarized in the email from him, which is attached to this memorandum too. Okay. I also attached a further email from Rosati setting out some matters he wishes to discuss in relation to his personal tax affairs. Fine. Tax reduction strategies. Manager Rosati. To tax manager from subject tax reduction strategies, date 1st Feb 24. I have been looking for ways to reduce the corporation tax payable by the group. I set out below two strategies which have came to my attention, and I would be interested to hear your views. I would emphasize that, as you would expect, the group would never do anything illegal or attempt to conceal the actions of the companies in any way. Okay. Pricing strategy. Lark Limited buys some of the components it's used from URB company. The price currently charged by URB company to Lark Limited is same as that which would be charged by an independent third party supplier. Means, one word for this line. It means, for me, it looks to me that the pricing is on the basis of arm's length, because this is exactly the price which can be charged to some outsider as well, right? If Lark Limited were to pay a higher price for these components, its profits and therefore its corporation tax liability would be reduced. The profit of URB would increase, but as you know that the rate of corporation tax of country in the country of Flimiro is lower than the main rate in the UK, such that total corporation tax payable by the group would be reduced. Any feedback, any thoughts on these comments?
CFC charge would be applicable.
Because if you start doing it, that would be considered as uh, artificially diverting of profits, right? And if it is like artificial diverting of profits, then yes, I agree. CFC charge implications of CFC charge would be applicable. Any further thing from other than CFC charge? So that's the only thing which came into my mind. And probably the line which I highlighted, the second thing which is in my mind from this line is about the transfer pricing, whether it is allowed under transfer pricing to quote less price within the group company, like, to deal the group company other than the arm's length price. Strategy suggested by business advisor. Okay, so he also has some advisor. The business advisor has suggested a strategy to reduce the corporation tax payable. It would involve Lark Limited make payments to VAR Limited, which would result in a tax reduction for Lark Limited, but would not give rise to taxable income in VAR Limited. We would need to incorporate two new subsidiaries which would enter into number of interrelated contracts with Lark Limited. There would be a series of payments and repayments by companies involved. Are you guys fine with these two paragraphs? Any point which came into your mind from this? These two? These two paragraphs? Anything in particular which came into your mind after reading these two paragraphs?
सर फर्स्ट पैराग्राफ में एक तो सीएफसी का पॉइंट माइंड में आया और दूसरा वो ट्रांसफर प्राइसिंग का, अगर वो आर्म्स लेंथ पे नहीं होती तो राइट।
From these two, strategy suggested by business advisor.
नो नो नो, अपर वन।
Then I'm asking about a strategy suggested by business advisor thing. So yes, you are right for the pricing strategy paragraph, but strategy suggested by business advisor.
इंक्रीज इन एसोसिएट्स।
Okay. Um, anything from your side on a strategy suggested by business advisor? No. Okay. So by reading these two lines, the ethical considerations came into my mind. Reason being, we are creating artificial structures, we are creating number of contracts. What's the objective? To hide the true essence or the substance of the transaction, if I use the accounting word. So that's why that would might be captured under the not allowed type things from the tax perspective.
सर एथिकल तो माइंड में ही नहीं आया था। आई वाज थिंकिंग अबाउट सीएफसी और इन सब के एथिकल तो माइंड में ही नहीं आया था।
I understand. So that's why, while reading, I'm thinking these lines as well, because when I read this now, so there is nothing issue other than if I ignore the ethics element, incorporating subsidiary. So, this line was the first clicker on my mind, which would result in tax deduction for Lark Limited. So it's like it would be expense for me. but it would not be income for other person. Okay. Next, gifts. Tax manager, Rosati, gift of shares, first Feb. As you know, I purchased 70,000 ordinary shares in Lark Limited, 70% holding in June 24. Sorry, in June 14 for 1.5 per share, and I have made gifts from this shareholding in the past. On 1st May 24, I will make two further such gifts. 1,500 shares to a discretionary trust established for the benefit of my sister children, and 1,500 shares to my brother. Okay, so it looks to me both of these things are going to happen on the similar day. These will be my only lifetime gifts in the tax year 24-25. So these will be the only lifetime gifts. My brother has been living in the country of Limiro since 2015. Unfortunately, he is in poor health, such that he has not visited UK since 2017 and will not be able to do so in the future. When I have made gifts in the past, I have claimed gift holdover relief. I would like to do this again in respect of gift to be made on 1st May 2024. I recall that when I last made a gift of shares in Lark Limited, the relief was restricted to 94% of the gain arising due to undeveloped land owned by the company. When advising me on these gifts, please assume that this percentage has not changed. What does it mean, undeveloped land, 94%? Like, what message you guys are getting from this, let's say, the highlight after highlighted area of this paragraph? No comments? So implications of these 3 lines, 4 lines, whatever. What came into your mind when you hear about these lines?
सर गिफ्ट टोटल रिलीव 94% मिला है.
Yeah, why that would be? Because there are some non-business assets in the balance sheet of the company. That's why, in simple words, right?
यस
Last.
सर.
Extracts from email from manager dated 1st Feb 24. Please carry out the following work. Corporate matters. Exhibit 1. Write a memorandum. If you read these wordings very carefully, like I always say, there are hidden messages. Write a memorandum. So, first of all, what I am supposed to do over here, I'm supposed to write a memorandum. Okay. For Lark Limited Group, client file. I hope you understand what I am trying to say. To assist us in preparing for a meeting with Rosati, when carrying out this work, you should note that Clark Limited Group claims all possible tax deductions and deferrals in respect of both intangible, tangible and intangible assets as soon as possible. As soon as possible means you should assume sale of STV Limited. You should ignore VAT when carrying out this task. Tax implications on the sale. In respect of option 1, explain the corporation tax implications for Lark Limited of the sale of shares. In respect of option 2, calculate explain the corporation tax implication and stamp duty land tax implication of the sale of street building. 1. Second, calculate the taxable profits arising from the sale of S trademark. Okay, so two things to be done. One, to explain the corporation tax. So this word is very important. Explain. Calculate. Okay, so I hope you are clear why I am highlighting this, what's my objective, context of highlighting this, all these type of stuff. In order to assist Rosati on deciding which option to proceed with, please prepare calculations to show which option would generate the greater amount of post-tax proceeds for Lark. Post-tax proceeds for Lark means you need to tell which option is better from a cash flow perspective for post-tax proceeds. In respect of both options, set out any other tax or commercial methods directly related to this proposed sale which would have drawn to Rosati attention. So this is, commercial acumen type of stuff would be tested in these type of methods. Commercial acumen, consider, what you should consider before deciding. VAT Exhibit 1. You should note that Rosati intends to include all eligible companies in the group VAT registration and that UK resident companies and that the UK tax resident companies in the group make standard related supplies only. However, Rosati will need to resolve certain administrative issues before the application can be finalized, such that the group registration will not take place until 1st May 24. Explain which of the following companies in the LARC Limited group could be included within a group VAT registration. On the assumption that sale of STV Limited is carried out in accordance with the option 2, explain why the sale of business asset would not qualify as transfer of going concern, and consequently whether or not STV would be required to charge VAT on the sale of a strict building to VAR Limited. Reducing the corporation tax payable by the group companies. Pricing strategy. Explain the corporation tax implications for the LARC Limited group of adopting the pricing strategies by Rosati. Explain the corporation tax implications means no calculation, the reduction in price, we should do this, and probably exactly the lines which we were thinking, CFC charge, transfer pricing, these discussions needs to be covered over here. Strategy suggested by business advisor. I have reviewed the strategy and concluded that it would fall within the general anti-abusive rule. If you recall, pricing strategy by the advisor. Let's make multiple contracts, deductions, etc., etc. Distinguish between tax avoidance and evasion and state the purpose of GAR. Explain why the GAR would apply to the strategy suggested by Rosati Business Advisor. And I'm thinking one thing. We discussed, maybe if I'm not recalling wrong, and if I'm wrong, please do knock me, 6 to 7 pages overall for ethics, right? That I don't recall that the ethics area was more than that. It was max 6 to 7 pages, right? Ethics is always within those 6 to 7 pages. It means just for 5 marks, not maybe just for 5 marks. For 5 marks, you need to cover just 5 to 6 or 7 pages. Is it a bad deal? Seriously, is it a bad deal? Like if I say, please learn it properly, learn it by heart, it covers 5 marks. Is it a bad deal? I promise the answer is no. Rosati, so do it, please, properly, because it is something which requires your manual or intellectual input very low. Rosati, gift of ordinary shares in LARC Limited. Write a memorandum for Rosati client file. Guys, one thing to notice and to take care of. Memorandum is requested under heading A. It means this memorandum, which is for LARC Limited group client file, should only cover one, two, sorry, broadly 2 matters: sale of STV, VAT, and with reducing the pricing strategy type thing. 3 main headings and then subheadings. And this part B should not be covered into that memorandum. It should be in a separate memorandum. And this memorandum is for Rosati client file. I hope I am clear, right? What are we supposed to do? What will we do? All these things would be clear, right? Like, you guys are not supposed to write this part in your previous memorandum. It should be in separate memorandum. You should assume that on 1st May 2014, the market value of 1,500 shares in LARC Limited will be 27,000. Rosati is a higher rate taxpayer and BADR will be available in respect of the gift. For each of the two proposed gifts, one gift to trust, second gift to brother, explain whether or not gift holdover relief will be available. Calculate Rosati capital gains tax liability, if any, and the recipient CGT base cost in the shares received. Okay. So this is explain and this is calculate. Right. I'm done reading the question. Before I continue, a quick question from you guys. What you guys feel to be more calculation or more theory? So needless to say, if you guys concludes more theory, then my main answer would be on Word document with uh, cross-reference workings on the spreadsheet like we did in our previous session. Okay, I'm going to start. Part A. Memorandum. To whom we are writing this memorandum? So two options. One, you can do is to the client file bracket Clark Limited Group or keep it separate. Both approaches are fine to write a memorandum. Subject. Please do advise me on the subject. Just please, subject. Okay, Vistaka, I hear you. Instra, your feedback? No. So, a simple advice. Under what heading or requirement you are supposed to write a memorandum? It's simple word, corporate matters. I'll keep the same heading. So, via these type of things, there is one very positive element for all these things. And the greatest element is there is a not mistake, common complaint from the examiner that students do not relate the answer from the scenario. If you do these type of things, like I'm doing at the moment, this helps in reducing the complaint from the examiner. You know, at least he can link this as mentioned in the scenario. So we rather than we are writing anything in general, we are writing things which are specific to the scenario. Okay. I'm going to write one statement which is completely optional. If we write, it's fine. If we do not write, even if we do not write, that's also fine. This memorandum has been prepared to assist preparation for meeting with Rosati, the managing director of Lark Limited. One thing I'm trying not to do is, I don't know, I normally have a caps problem, like corporate matters, C caps, M caps, tech senior. So try to avoid it. That's my issue. I always try to avoid it. My first heading, first what I'm supposed to do, sale of STV Limited. Tax implications of sale. Tax implication of sale. Option one. Option one was sale of shares. Sale of shares. Oh. Explain corporation tax implications. Yes, sale of shares, corporation tax implications. The gain realized by Lark Limited on the sale of shares would be exempt from corporation tax due to the substantial shareholding exemption, abbreviated as SSE. Now I can use the abbreviation SSE. The SSE would be available because STV Limited and Lark Limited both are trading companies and Lark Limited have owned at least 10% of the ordinary share capital of STV Limited for at least 12 months out of 72 months. Option 2, sale of assets and sale of assets. Sale of assets. So for this part, if I go to requirement, for this part, I need to cover two things. Corporation tax implication, stamp duty. Okay, I need to cover two things. STV Limited and VAR Limited. So just to go through that, strict building would be sold to VAR Limited for its market value. VAR Limited would use the building for its trading purpose. Okay. S Limited trademark would be sold to an unconnected company for 50,000. Other assets, equipment, receivables, net cash surplus. Corporation tax implications. STV Limited and VAR Limited. So first of all, I'm going to talk about building. STV Limited and VAR Limited are members of Lark Limited Chargeable Gains Group. As Lark Limited owns at least 75% of the ordinary share capital of both companies. Accordingly, The sale of building to War Limited will take place at no gain, no loss automatically. For the purpose of corporation tax. Such that it would not I'm just thinking, should I use word create or impact? Stamp duty. One liner quick feedback on stamp duty, then we'll continue. One liner quick feedback on stamp duty, then I will start writing. Please. Okay. Intra, anything from you on a stamp duty line? Great. On the stamp duty, the point is stamp duty, land tax will not be due in respect of the sale of strict this is because Lark Limited owns at least let me write it simply. So if you recall from the stamp taxes, there were certain exemptions, and certain exemptions were mainly the areas where there is no consideration involved. So from a tax perspective, I agree there is actual consideration of 700,000 over here. But from tax perspective, it is at no gain, no loss, means no consideration involved. And no consideration involved means no stamp taxes. If you guys are fine with this, then I like to move to the spreadsheet. STV Limited purchased a registered trademark for 30,000. Should be aware that on 1st May 23, VAR Limited purchased the V trademark for 40,000. Both were used for within the respective companies. They are both written off over 20-year period in financial statements. Okay. If done, can I start working one? For how much we are going to sell off the trademark? That was for 50,000. Cost, okay. Just a sec, please. Can I have uh, your concentration over here? Guys, please listen into this. On 31st March 24, we are going to sell out STV Limited, right? STV Limited includes STV Limited include STV Limited, either it would be share or sale of share, or it will be sale of trade and assets. If we sell out assets, then one of the asset which we are selling out would be S trademark, right? For 50,000. We are selling out S trademark, cutting a story short, on 31st March 24. And then we are acquiring, we means the group is acquiring, on 1st May 23, VAR Limited is purchasing another trademark for 40,000. Okay. Can I say this purchase is within last 12 months? Can I say this purchase is within last 12 months? If yes, then can I think about intangible rollover relief over here? Can I think about intangible rollover relief over here? By the way, we already discussed these are group companies, and if these are group companies, then there will be concept of group rollover relief. So that's not their own rollover relief. I'm talking about group rollover relief. Okay. Why I am writing trading profit? Because for patents, if used in business, any gain loss will be your trading profit or trading loss. But if not used in business, let's say, if this have been used, if this patent would have been let out, let's say, then it would be part of my other income. Right? Intangible rollover relief. What is the uninvested amount? So for intangible, here are we investing complete rollover or partial rollover? We are making partial rollover. Why I'm saying partial rollover? Because disposal of S trademark is for 50,000, whereas cost of V trademark is 40,000. It means uninvested uninvested amount is 10,000, which would be your quickly, please. Do copy it as at your earliest. Sorry, sorry.
सर आपने रोल और लीव में अनवेस्टेड अमाउंट क्यों क्यों लिए? उसमें तो बैलेंस ही फिगर लेंगे।
Sorry, uninvested amount. I mistaken over here. That's right, you're right. And this would be my ROR. Now fine.
यस सर।
Okay. um, should I move forward? Is that done? In order to assist Rosati in deciding on which option to proceed with, prepare calculations to show which option would generate the greater amount of post-tax proceeds for Lark Limited. Uh, okay. And in respect of both options, set out any other tax and other commercial matters. So any other tax or commercial matters. Let's first discuss on the calculations. This is only bold, nothing else. The post tax proceeds the greater amount of post-tax proceeds. So I picked up from here. The greater amount of post-tax proceeds from option XX option 2, and what should we name? Post-tax proceeds, option 1. For option 1, post-tax proceeds would be guys, strict building. From a corporation tax perspective, it's at no gain, no loss. But if I have to check proceeds, proceeds, should I consider its inflow? The answer is yes. So I was receiving 700,000 from this. Total proceeds 880. CT on strict building. So I am like, whatever will be the gain, there will be tax of 25% over it. This would result in additional profit of 20,000, if you remember. I have highlighted that as well.
सर एस ट्रेड का और अदर एसेट की कैलकुलेशन शो।
C9 is 10,000, like the amount of gain we computed. And this is 20,000 as mentioned in Exhibit 1, 25%. Why directly 25%? Because it was mentioned that all companies pay tax at main rate. What was our plan to do with this post-tax proceeds? Read option 2, first line, second line yellow highlighted. So whatever is the post-tax proceeds realized, we will pay it to the group as dividend. Is there any tax on dividend payment by the company to another company? Corporation tax. Is there any tax on dividend payment or receiving? No. So under option 2, the post-tax proceeds is 872,500, and under option 1, post-tax proceeds is 920,000, which is resulting in more post-tax proceeds.
ऑप्शन 1।
Working done. Can I back to the word? the greater amount of post-tax proceeds would be from option 1, refer working to on a spreadsheet. I'm giving you guys 1 minute to be here, then I will proceed with next part of this requirement. Mhm. Okay, if I go to this, in respect of both options, set out any other tax and or commercial matters directly related to this proposed sale, we should draw Rosati attention to. For both the options, we are supposed to matters to draw Rosati attention. Under option 1. The strict building would be owned by STV Limited when the company is sold. So, okay, this is a statement of fact that the building would remain under the ownership of STV Limited. So, what is the point? Accordingly, VAR Limited would not be able to acquire the building and would have to find out any other suitable alternate building for use in trade. This could turn out cost more or less than 700,000. So this is the biggest concern which I want to bring into Rosati attention, that if you sell out the shares, the strict building will be gone from your control. Under option 2. Option 2. Option 2 generates lower amount of post-tax proceeds. So this is first point. In addition, the majority of the proceeds would not be new money in relation to the group. As the building was sold to VAR Limited. VAR Limited base cost in the strict building would be equal to STV Limited's base cost of 430,000 as opposed to the building current market value of 700,000. Accordingly, VAR Limited taxable gain on a future sale of the building would be greater than the profit it makes. I'm done with these matters. So, both of you, if you ask me, uh, sir, so to be honest, matters which we are just discussing, is it something which is very much related to any particular study, or is it more of a acumen type of discussion? So it is more of a acumen type of discussion, like if you ask me honestly, sir, we not studied these points anywhere. Yes, I agree. But that's why it is called commercial acumen, which means that you have to think these things during the scenario. So acumen is based on your pure general knowledge type of discussions. Sure, 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 sure. Done. So I hope the matters or the acumen related points you guys understand. And again, it's you who is more supposed to think of these points. Like if you can think any other aspect as well, more than welcome. Bold, underline. Should I start part two, VAT, 7 marks? You should note that Rosati intends to include all eligible companies in the group VAT registration and that the UK tax resident companies in the group make a standard rated supplies only. However, Rosati will need to resolve certain administrative issues before the application can be finalized, such that the group registration will not be placed until 1st May 2024. Explain which of the companies in the Lark Limited group could be included within a group VAT registration. Okay. On the assumption that sale of STV Limited is carried out in accordance with option 2, explain why the sale of business asset would not qualify as transfer of going concern. Why not? Okay. So first, let me talk about simple underline, simple underline, not bold, simple underline, underline removed. Yes, from that perspective, matters we should bring to the attention. The companies which could be included in a group VAT registration with Lark Limited are those which are controlled by Lark Limited. Lark Limited owns more than 50%. Second, established in UK or have a permanent establishment in UK. Accordingly, the group registration can be made for Lark Limited Why I have not included STV Limited, because STV Limited we were planning to sold STV Limited by 31st March 24, right? And we are thinking to go for group registration on 1st May 24. As per plan, STV Limited would be sold on 31st March 24 and Lark Limited will go for group registration and Lark Limited will go for group registration on 1st May 2024. Hence, STV cannot be part of If you guys are done, I like to read the question again so that we will be more clear on the question. On the assumption that sale of STV Limited is carried out in accordance with option 2. Okay. First point. Explain why the sale of business asset would not qualify as TOGC. So first I need to explain why sale of business assets would not be transfer of going concern, and consequently whether or not STV Limited would be required to charge VAT on the sale of a strict building to VAR Limited. So 2 points to discuss. First, why not TOGC apply? Second thing to talk about is um, whether we need to charge VAT on the sale of a strict building or not. Okay, clear? So if you read the requirement point by point, step by step, the requirements would become easy for you to address. So first I'm going to explain why TOGC not apply, and then I will address this yellow highlighted part. Sale of building. STV Limited sale of STV Limited's sale of its business assets would not qualify transfer of going concern for the purpose of VAT. By the way, why not it will not qualify for transfer of going concern? Before I write the reason, or one word, 2 word comment from your side. Why not? Why it will not qualify? Okay, a valid point, Mushtaq. Insra, any feedback from your side? Okay. So what is transfer of going concern? Transfer of going concern means you are selling out your running business to someone. Are we really selling out our running business to someone? The answer is no. So would not qualify for transfer of going concern for the purpose of VAT, because no single purchaser will acquire An operational business. Like we are selling out building to someone else, we are selling out our uh, intangible asset to someone else, assets we are settling down. Mm, I hope you understand this. Accordingly, it may be necessary to charge VAT, may be necessary to charge VAT on the sale of strict building. So this is my first comment with respect to this. Okay. As STV Limited and VAR Limited are not members of VAT group, when the sale takes place, because if they are in the VAT group, just for your info, if they are in the VAT group, then again, within the group, assets transferred, there are no VAT implications if assets are transferred within the group. So I'm just saying that as STV Limited and VAR Limited are not members of VAT group when the sales takes place, we need to know whether or not an option to tax has been made in respect of the building. If option to tax has been made by STV Limited, if an option to tax has been made by STV Limited, then STV Limited will be required to charge VAT at 20% on the sale of building. If no option to tax has been made, the sale will be an exempt supply because the building is more than 3 years old. By the way, VAT related story clear? Great. Reducing the corporation tax payable by group companies. Exhibit 2. Uh, Pricing strategy. So explain the corporation tax implications for adopting the price strategy advised by Rosati. Pricing strategy. Lark Limited and URB company are connected companies for the purpose of transfer pricing rules. First point. This is because Lark Limited controls URB company such that it directly participates Let's put a stop over here. Accordingly, the transfer pricing rules would apply to the purchase of components from URB company. So first thing we establish that transfer pricing rules will be applicable. Now, if these rules to be applicable, then like what are the rules? What are the implications? So transfer pricing rules, one, two key implications are rather than actual transaction amount, we have to record that transaction at the arm's length price, right? Means maybe you need to uh, recalculate or redo your accounts, redo your uh, accounts type of stuff. Reason being, because your account should be based on your actual transaction price. Now you have to redo, recalculate these stuff, right? So now I'm going to write what will be the implications. Under the transfer pricing rules, Lark Limited would obtain a tax advantage reduce taxable profits in UK if it were to pay from components from URB Go, then the price charged by an unconnected company. Consequently, it would be required to calculate its profits from UK corporation tax purpose rather the exemption within the transfer pricing rules for small and medium enterprise would not be available regardless of the lark regardless of the size of lark limited group. This is because there is no double tax treaty between UK and Limero. Transfer pricing thing clear? Transfer pricing thing clear? Thanks, Mr. Thanks, Intro. I have reviewed this strategy and concluded that it would fall within the GAR. Distinguish between tax evasion, avoidance, and state the purpose of GAR. Explain why the GAR would apply to the strategy suggested by Rosati, tax advisor. So distinguish between tax evasion, avoidance, and state the purpose of GAR. So maybe one line tax evasion, one line tax avoidance, one line purpose of GAR. And maybe I'm considering marks. 2 points for explanation why the GAR would apply. Okay. Tax evasion. It is unlawful. It involves the provision of false information or withholding of information in order to evade tax, tax avoidance. It involves the use of legal methods in order to reduce the amount of tax payable. It is intended to counteract tax advantages obtained via what would otherwise be legal tax avoidance methods. Explain why GAR would apply to the strategy suggested by advisor. Why? A tax advantage would be obtained where payments result in a tax deduction for large limited, but not give rise to taxable income in VAR limited. First reason. Second reason, the formation of subsidiary companies together with their interrelated contracts and the series of payments and repayments which are intended to obtain the tax advantage would be regarded as abusive tax arrangements. These arrangements appear to have been designed to give rise additional tax deductions and or Non-taxable income. Rather than for genuine commercial reasons. Hmm. Any question on GAR? Any question on GAR? Great. Write a memorandum for Rosati client file. While carrying out this work, you should assume on 1st May 24, the market value of 1,500 shares will be 27,000. Rosati is high rate taxpayer and BADR will be available in respect of the gifts. For each of the explain whether or not gift holder relief will be available. And second, calculate Rosati capital gains tax liability and the recipient CGT base cost received in the shares. Okay. First, again, this is up to you whether you write it or not. Totally up to you.
सर डेट चेंज
This
नहीं
mem
करेंगे फर्स्ट में?
for part B, is it somewhat assumption that today's date is changed? So both things are like we are doing both things today. It's like not today's transaction. We are advising for the future. What should you do in the future? What should not do in the future? So it's not today's implication.
ओके सर.
This memorandum has been prepared, assessed, hmm, each of two gifts to proposed gifts chargeable gain of working three. Disposal proceed will be recorded at market value. Remember at what price Rosati purchased the shares? He was gifting 1500 shares, right? What was the cost per share? $22,500. As a result, gain, whether we give the shares to, like whether Rosati give the shares to uh, brother or to trust, there will be a gain of so first I computed what will be the amount of gain. Okay. Now I need to discuss about availability of gift holder relief, BADR, if gifted to trust and if gifted to brother, the base cost, etc., etc. Gift to discretionary trust. My brother living, unfortunately, when I would like to do this again. I recall higher rate taxpayer BADR will be available in respect of these gifts. Whether or not gift holder relief will be available. So first question, whether or not gift holder relief will be available. Gift holdover relief will be available in respect of whole gain as opposed to 94% of it. This is because a gift to a trust is immediately chargeable to inheritance tax under relevant property trust because she is creating in life. The trustees' base cost in shares received would be disposal proceed minus all of the gain will be rolled over. So it's like 24,750, which will be similar to cost. Market value discretionary trust. Is this conversation clear? Discretionary trust. This conversation clear? Thanks, Mushtaq. Insra, what about you? Are you clear? Uh-oh, sorry. I assume from the word okay, no question. Okay, gift to Rosati brother. If I ask you before I start writing, whether gift holdover relief will be available in this situation? Why no? Why no? No, no, Mushtaq. So these were two separate transactions. One transaction was she was gifting or transferring the shares to the trust. It was not for brother, it was for, I guess, sisters, children, nephew, niece, etc. For my sister's children. And these 1500 separate to a brother who is living in the country of Limiro, and he has not visited UK since 2017. So trust is separate thing. This is separate thing. Insra, your views. So gift holdover. Relief will not be available. So here I'm taking a pause. Why not available? Simple. Uh, Under gift holdover relief, what you basically do, you basically transfer your gain from yourself to any other person, right? And generally that any other person is UK resident. Like you are transferring your tax to any other UK resident. Here is the brother UK resident. Is he living in UK? Like as per the statement, he not visited UK since 2017. So would he be UK resident? The answer is no. Hence, gift holdover relief will not be available in respect of this gift because Rosati brother is not UK tax resident in the tax year 24-25. He will be non-UK resident automatically. Why? Because so according to the discussion for gift to Rosati brother, I need to calculate the capital gains tax as well. Otherwise, no need. Rosati brother base cost in the shares received will be the market value of shares on 1st May 2024 of 27,000. Gain taxable gain any question? I really like to hear. So I read both of your comments. I agree. It's the first time you guys do not have much more practice around it. Clicking off points should be concerned. That's all I agree. But for me, to be honest, these comments today is not as much worry. If I hear these comments, let's say next week as well, if I hear these comments next week as well, it would be more worry thing for me. But well, it's fine, Mustaq. So if you manage to grab, let's say, or if you manage to think more than uh, 50, 60% of points, that's perfectly fine. We're saying, uh, so ideally, try your best to attempt as much as you can. So there is no minimum benchmark that you should attempt 10 questions or 15 questions or 20 questions. There is no such list. It should be as much as you can. Uh, if you are struggling with time, let's say, then you should attempt questions on LIFO basis, like the recent ones first, then go back, 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 back. Okay. Um, Thank you very much. Let's reconnect tomorrow at same time, 7 p.m. Again, the agenda would be to attempt section B questions of this paper. Okay. So take care of yourself. Be prepared for tomorrow. We'll reconnect and okay. But keep up the practice. Like time is short now. Okay. Thank you very much. Office from my side.
सर दुआ करें आप सर
Sure.